So what I'll do is I'll show you what happens in Claude Co Work, the AI agent. So we're now opening up session 14 is open. And in this session, I'm going to change the functionality of one of the input apps. And that is going to be what I call prompt activity 1. So in each session, you start the session, see attached standard operating procedure. And prompt activity 1, I want to change one of the functions in one of the input apps. And what this is originally we had one size fits all, basically to say that how much inventory should I have on hand for a company that sells products? So originally it was 30 days, then I changed it to 45 days based on research. But then I said, one size may not really, that's kind of a distortion because the truth is, suppose you run a food business versus a furniture store. There's a big difference between the number of days of inventory you're going to have on hand. So I said, well, I don't want to make it too complicated. How do I change that function point so it's not so distorted? So the compromise actually came through Manus AI with a 15 selection drop down list, 15 different product types as to the days, and it gives a range. And you, the user, would select the range and it would default to the midpoint. So that to me was a better functional way of dealing with calculating the inventory a company should have on hand. And that changes the function of the input app, which is different right now. So what I got to do now is I got to go into the application itself where it's hosted with the super agent and change it. And this gives rise to what's called change order 47. So if you like, clear it to say this for and it did. And it has a decision log. Yeah. So what I'll do is it's just doing a little bit of housekeeping, or if you rather clear the decision 062, save first and close. Type that, and I'll walk you through fire and change it and set up the offline case study 1 test. Or if you'd rather clear the save first, clear decision 062. So we'll do a little bit of house cleaning. So what happens is a log that categorize it summarizes every major decision in the software project, and it had to do a little bit of cleanup with decision 62. So when you have to do some cleanup work with the AI agent in Claude Co Work. Because I made some changes to one of the artifacts that impacts the decision. Okay, so now, next step. So we'll start prompt activity 1, and prompt activity 1 is this right here. Prompt activity 1, we're going to try to execute change order 47 to change the functionality of one of the input apps from 45 days to a 15 selection drop down menu is what we're going to do. So this is how you would actually build out functionality in a software application. So start PA prompt activity 1, which is change order 47. Change the functionality of the input app on the hosting platform is what we're doing. This is what you do when you develop software. And I won't do it for big functionality because it takes a long time. But this one shouldn't be too complicated. Shouldn't be too complicated. We're going to firing off, and set up the offline case study 1 test. Because what I'll do is I'll test to see if the functionality actually worked correctly after the fact. I don't want to do it online I want to move on. I got other prompt activities, and this could go on for hours. So the actual prompt activity, and it usually has a box, and you copy the actual box. It has like a box in the change order and says copy this and paste it and go communicate this to the super agent, SA super agent on the hosting platform. And that's literally that's how you execute change orders between the AI agent on Claude Co Work and the hosting platform. Clean paste. And it'll stage the workbook so I can go after the fact and test it out afterwards, which is good. Because we want to validate did the functionality. I would test it out regardless. And if it wants to tee up the case study workbook so I can test it specifically, that's fine. But I was going to test it out regardless of how AI. And you want to test that to see the functionality. Does this work? How does it work? Where do I find it? Is it not obvious for each product? The case study has 3 different products: cosmetics, dry goods, and it's different. So do I select for each product? Is that there's going to be a drop down box for each of the products? Yes or no? So it's ready to be fired. The block is blah 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 to save you, honey. Blah, blah, blah. Copy this to the super agent. So what I have to do is I have this little copy box. There's a little copy box here. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to copy this to change the functionality of it. And then the other thing I got to do is your offline case study will be tested here. Copy the box into the super agent, then run the 45 blah 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 blah. Tell me the result. If it passes, say close PA. Then run the 45-day check, which is what it is. If the app comes back, paste and return. So you want to leave this open. So I'm going into the hosting platform to the super agent. See where it says super agent? Hosting platform. Now we're communicating to the super agent. This is some of the previous conversations I've been doing. This is all the previous stuff that's been going on between me and the super agent in building out the software. So now I'm going to copy and paste this. Modify app 4. Replace the 45-day rule to a 15-day pick list. Thinking. Super agent is over the hosting platform. It's over all the applications. Significant build. It is complicated because what it is means every product now has, it's a little more, it was a simple build before. We're making this a little bit more difficult, but the problem is it's going to be more accurate. And I don't want to be too distorted in the financial forecast for people's inventory levels. I don't want to make it too simple where it's too distorted. How do I find a compromise? And the compromise is this. Let's see if we can give people maybe 15 choices and it'll be a lot more accurate. If a furniture store versus a food business, it's just not the same. And right now I have 3 products in the case study. Now, sometimes I don't have to go into the app. I'm hoping maybe the super agent can execute the change without me having to go in. Sometimes it directs me to go to the specific app, and it has an AI agent where I communicate with the app's AI agent on the hosting platform. I'll check the builder status shortly and report back once it's done or if it hits any issues. This is the first step, app 5 in the case study workbook. Wait on this pass. It's actually app 4. App 5 is the trial balance. But it will impact app 5 trial balance because the inventory levels get tracked and reported in the trial balance app 5. So anyway, I don't want to keep you guys watching this, but I just wanted to just see firsthand how all this actually works. So you can see, what do? I interact with the AI agent, Claude Co Work, and I interact with the super agent to build out function points on the software, and this is what happens.